What's up, y'all? My name is Andre Hopkins, also known as Entre Interview, and today I'm joined here by ENVY Glyph. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I mean, of course, can do a little bit better, but so far so good.
I'm just going to start with just how do you feel after your kind of VCT Americas debut?
Definitely a little bit frustrated in the sense, I think we've had a lot of good scrims, a lot of good reps and things like this, and then just we kind of fell over, I'd say, when we got to the stage and we just didn't make enough like adaptations or solutions. So for me, a bit frustrated, but it's not something that I don't think that we can work out or not improve towards. I mean, it's something that I know we will improve at. So, I mean, looking forward to being able to get back to work for this week and then looking forward to the rest of the games for the rest of the season for sure.
I mean, kind of what do you think the main thing is the team should work on for the future to kind of show that improvement quickly?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of just like a leadership thing. Like, we just need to get on the same page, Like we have so many individuals with so much talent when you look at the paper mechanically and their experiences and their pedigree and things like this. Like, they're all really good at aiming, shooting, all these things, but at the end of the day, if like we can't get on the same page, find the right solutions, give them the right information, like at this level, like we'll always like fall behind in some ways. So for me, it's kind of just finding this page or like strong voice and like people as like a team just like stepping up and respecting each other and listening to each other, talking, things like this. So I'd say for me, it's just a communication and listening thing because the talent's definitely there for me. And we've shown much more than that in practice.
I mean, how much time has the team just kind of had practicing and scrimming together?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a couple weeks, I'd say, maybe like 3 weeks or so. So not the most time, but definitely not super underprepared or anything by far.
Does it kind of feel like since the team kind of got started late that you're playing a little bit of catch up, or does it feel you kind of like on pace?
For me, I'd say it's kind of on pace. I mean, catch up in the sense that most of the teams that have done well or have been together since like kickoff for the most part, stage
Mm-hmm.
one, they've had all these match reps and things like this. So I think for us, it's like very important and it's very like nice, at least in some ways, to look at it as a positive that we lost this early and to feel this way and understand like where we went wrong. There's a lot of things that we can improve at, whether that's not even just in-game stuff, but again, like the out-game communication, the dynamic, things like this that we can improve. So for me, that's like the biggest part that we're catching up on, but I'd say we're on pace when it comes to how we've kind of evolved over time, like in practice from week by week, working on our maps and things like this. It's definitely been like a steady trajectory. So in that sense, I think we're on pace. Just gotta kind of transition it a bit better for the stage for sure.
So, what do you think the biggest difference is from your time playing in EMEA back here and then your time playing in Challengers? What's the biggest difference between Americas and EMEA in terms of style and teams?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say EMEA teams, in my opinion, just how I've played against them, and even my own team, and just seeing like anti and all this stuff, like with my time in Europe, like a lot of teams over there are very like structured and like systematic. So I'd say in that sense, it's a lot easier to play, at least for me, I'd say, when it comes to like having solid reads and things like this. I'd say in Americas, there's a little more like variance when it comes to like gaps in people's defaults, util, like how they're doing things. Like there's a lot more things where people are also just like more confident to like take their timings and fights and things like this. No one really strays outside of the structure too much. Or sorry, people do stray out of the structure like a lot more in Americas than EMEA, I'd say. But for me, that would be like the main difference.
I mean, kind of being back in LA, I mean, just how's it been just kind of being back in the city versus, like I said, over in Europe? I think, what,
Yeah, I
in
mean,
Berlin, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, in Berlin. So for me, I'd say it's very comfortable for me. Born and raised in the U.S. Been to LA handful of times, girlfriend, family, like people live here that I know, and that I've just played against for a long time, even played with. So for me, it's like a very comfortable and easy transition. And I'm also very happy with like the weather. I mean, most of my time in Europe was like prime winter, snow, ice, hail, almost like every day raining, gray clouds. So it was very rare for it to be sunny. By the time I was like out of there, it was starting to get into summer. So I'm very happy to be here, and it's always sunny out basically, and nice weather. It's definitely a nice change of pace compared to the lifestyle I was in. But I'd say overall, just an easy transition. Very, very comfortable for me. Very at home in a sense.
Did you manage to get out before the kind of heat wave hit Europe? I've heard that was pretty
Yeah, yeah.
rough.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've definitely heard that from a couple people now, seen it on Twitter from the people that I was with and things like this. Definitely hit them a lot harder. Kind of lucky that I definitely gotta miss that for sure.
They escaped just in time, just in
Yeah.
time. So, kind of playing in front of the VCT Americas crowd. I mean, did it kind of live to your expectations?
I mean, the crowd was definitely very nice. I mean, the crowd was definitely nice. I mean, I think for me, I see so much from when I was just grinding through tier two, the America stage, things like this. So now to be here and really see it and live in it is just like very surreal in a sense. So definitely very excited. Definitely lived to expectations. There's some pros and cons compared to EMEA, I'd say, but overall, it's a very nice place, very nice experience, and I'd always love to meet fans or have people come out and watch. I love putting on a show for people, so definitely a good time.
And then, can you give us any reason on? We just saw Coach Thunder. I don't think he was in the booth today, or maybe we just didn't see him. Is there any reason for him not being here? Because we kind of heard a little bit on the broadcast, but didn't
Yeah,
really.
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what the broadcast said, but basically just personal reason. I think it's like his family's his like sister or someone's wedding or something like this.
Mm.
So it just he needs his own personal time. Only a couple days. He's been there every time since I've joined, basically every single day. Like from he's one of the earliest people to get in there to like the latest getting out. So he's definitely put in work and helped a lot. Just unfortunately for this game, didn't want to miss a very important like life event for him, which is totally understandable. I mean, our coach, assistant coach Woken does a great job, filling the gaps for what he could. But at the end of the day, he's not there in the server, so and neither is Stunner. So the responsibility is all of the teams for sure, but mostly just wedding. Just
Yeah,
can't really miss out on that.
I'm happy to hear he's going to be back. He's one of my favorite interviews. For like the last 2 minutes, we just talked about hockey. There was no Valorant. So
Yeah.
we kind of saw on your first map you were kind of just fragging out on the KO. I mean, just being able to play kind of on those comfortable roles of KO and then smokes. I mean, just how does that kind of flexibility you have? What does that bring to a team? Being able to kind of go from initiator to smokes.
I think for a team, it should be very like very eye-opening, I guess I'd say. Like, it's obviously like in strength, like you have someone who can play smokes and be in a supportive role and then still go to like another supportive role and just do just as good of a job. I think just with, on initiators and things like this, I can have a little more involvement when it comes to setting other people up or when it comes to taking more of like an initiative to do things. So I'd say that it's very easy, there's a lot of flexibility for other people's options because I'm comfortable in my roles. So if I had a flex even to like a sentinel, for example, like I'd be totally down with it. I mean, the only role I'd say maybe you gotta be careful for is me on duelist. Don't know too much about that, but for me, I'd feel pretty confident like slotting in most roles into a team. So I'd say like I've been pretty easygoing with most of my teams on what role they want me to play or what agents, and I've been pretty good at adapting or figuring it out to help people.
Then moving back to kind of one last non-Valorant related question, just kind of back to the whole EU and
Yeah.
America's thing. Just is there anything you're going to miss about playing kind of over in EMEA that versus here?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say there's just some cultural differences, like having a bunch of Europeans and things like this, they grow up a different way. How they work outside of the game when practice is over is completely different and things like this. I think one thing that I kind of regret slash miss is that like, I wasn't as open at times to like the team culture aspect outside of practice when I was in EMEA. But that's definitely something now that I look back, like I really miss out on because those group of guys that I was with as well were just so incredibly funny and nice. They always wanted to do things and stuff like that. So I'd say for me, it's definitely just missing like that kind of different culture outside of it.
Is there anything you lesson like kind of life lesson or in-game lesson wise you kind of take from that experience that you kind of bring back here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for me, I'd say is just don't the life lesson I'd say in game wise is kind of just like utilize my strengths and be strong in like my identity and things like this. I mean, last year I was very strong when it came to my identity, how I played. Like most people like probably knew I was like one of these aggressive players, like things like this when I played like Omen and other roles. But I think when I transitioned to EMEA, maybe I lost that a little bit, trying to be more of like a system, like structure player to be able to support and help others and things like this, where my identity kind of got lost a little bit from what was like my strengths before. I think that I've learned a lot as well, being able to try to adapt to like that kind of play style and things like this. And it's given me a bunch of perspective when it comes to how to play the game and a different approach just in general. So it's not something that I really regret, but it's something that I learned and kind of double down on that in my future experiences, try not to lose my voice or my playstyle or my viewpoints. And I tell like everybody this, or even like the last interviewee was that I mean I can't really blame anybody but myself. So it's kind of just something that I need to work and focus on to just be involved and let my voice be heard, my ideas and things like this. And that's kind of always turned out to be a benefit. Just sometimes, maybe I'm a little shy or hesitant to kind of interject or involve myself, which is can be bad, it just doesn't really hurt.
And I mean, just kind of the big thing is just even being able to recognize that and know it's something you can kind of improve on for the future is just,
Yeah,
and the
for sure.
biggest thing you can do, right?
For sure.
So, just last few one here is just upcoming game like we talked about before against MIBR. I mean, how do you feel going into that game?
I mean, for me, just very excited to be honest. Like it's like when I was on Santiago for Masters earlier this year,
Mhm.
like being able to play against some household names and things like this that are up there with like international competitors and things like this is super exciting for me. I have a blast playing these matches. I have a blast like putting on a show in front of fans, seeing across the stage the people that I'm playing against and being able to perform or outplay or do well or whatever it is. I'm just happy to compete with these people and competitors. Just super excited for it, to be honest. It's not that I like underestimate or overestimate them or something like this. It's just, when you play tier two for so long, see the same names when you're VOD reviewing or things like this, and then now you're on that stage, it's like, let me at them. So
Mhm.
just very excited to get in there and be able to play some of the people that I didn't really get to play against when I went to internationals or didn't really get to play against just because last year I was in tier two and things like this. Obviously, I scrimmed them for a long time and certain players and things like this. So I'm excited to, again, just show it in a match, see how it goes in a match, and have some fun with it.
And then just lastly here, just do you have any words for the Envy fans going into the game against MIBR?
Yeah, I mean, just expect us to improve. The team's a lot different than kickoff in stage one, and Knights is insane. I mean, you guys saw it today, his ace, and then I think today even, I maybe we might have lost, but I played a little bit well. So hopefully next time, we can show you guys a much better performance. I mean, I swear to you guys that we will improve by this loss and the things that happened for sure. So just look forward and thank you guys for the support.
Well, Glyph, thank you very much for your time. Good luck in your upcoming game against
Thank you
MIBR
so
and have a
much.
great rest of your day.
You too.